Assalamu'alikum Wr.Wb. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Fira Pampu. I'm student of Sintuwu Maroso University. I am Faculty of Teacher Training and Education and I major at English Department. My student ID number is 9191 1402 11203. This video was made with the aim of fulfilling the UTS assignment for the Qualitative and Quantitative Approach in Educational course. So, the task of UTS from the Qualitative and Quantitative Approach in Educational course is to make videos. In this video, I will explain my answer from the 3 questions that have been given by a lecturer in the Qualitative and Quantitative Approach in Educational course. There are 6 steps in the research process, namely identifying a research problem, reviewing the literature, specifying a research purpose, collecting data, analyzing and interpreting data, and reporting and evaluating data. For the step 1, identifying a research problem, we can find the first step in chapter 1, for example, in the thesis entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purpose Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu. Namely at point B, identification of the problem. The research explains identification of problems in his research, namely ESP lecturer did not do need analyzing before coming to the classroom to teach ESP class. The teaching material used do not meet the ESP criteria, and teachers apply English for general purpose learning in teaching ESP students. For step 2, reviewing the literature, the second step can be found in chapter 2. For example, in the thesis entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purposes Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu, namely at point A, English for Specific Purpose. The researcher put forward the theory of ESP according to Hutchinson and Waters 1992, namely ESP has applied the science that is used more specifically so that students can find out why participants learn English and occur based on awareness of students' needs. In particular, students can understand why they should learn English and knowledge that focus on student needs. For step 3, specifying a research purpose, the third step can be found in the abstract, as in the example of the thesis entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purposes Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu. This study aims to determine the teaching materials needed by marketing students at SMKN 1 Bengkulu CD and to analyze students' needs in learning English at SMKN 1 Bengkulu CD. For step 4, collecting data, the fourth step can be found in chapter 3 as in the example article entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purposes Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu. Data collection in described in chapter 3.D, data collecting technique, where the research explained the collecting technique used, namely questionnaires, interviews, and documentation. For step 5, analyzing and interpreting data, the fifth step can be found in chapter 3 as in the example article with the title Learners need analyzing of English for specific of purposes marketing students of SMKN 1 Bengkulu. Data collecting is explained in chapter 3.E, technique of data analyzing, where the research explained the data analyzing technique used by the researcher, namely data reduction, data display, and drawing and verifying conclusions. For step 6, reporting and evaluating data. The sixth step can be found in chapter 3 as in the example article entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purposes Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu. Data collecting is explained in chapter 3.F, the validity of the data. The researcher explained that data evaluating is carried out with validity as a measuring tool that has characteristics because it is directly related to reliable or unreliable data. Researchers try to get the validity of the data by using simulation with the aim of knowing the data obtained are widespread, consistent, and certain. In this study, triangulation was carried out by comparing the result of the analysis of observations, interview, and documentation. The difference between research with a qualitative approach and research with a qualitative approach is that the quantitative approach sees everything as value-free, objective, and must be as it is. On the other hand, the qualitative approach says that everything is value-free and including that subjective research himself. An example of a research with a quantitative approach in a thesis entitled Students Need Analyzing in Teaching and Learning Process of English Subject for Element Grade Students at SMA Patra Dharma Tarakan. Researchers make observation by observing all activities in the classroom with a checklist observation. It aims for researchers to see directly at the fact that occur in the field, so the everything is value-free, objective, and must be as it is. In contrast, the research with a quantitative approach, research with a qualitative approach in the thesis entitled Learners Need Analyzing of English for Specific of Purpose Marketing Students of SMKN 1 Kota Bengkulu. Researchers did not make observations but directly distributed questionnaires to students majoring in marketing after completing the process of learning English. The results of the questionnaire are present to analyze students' opinions about their needs in learning marketing English without first observing the facts that occur in the field as in research with a quantitative approach. The equation of the steps for collecting quantitative and qualitative data in the sample thesis with the title Need Analysis in English for Specific Purpose at Vocational School at Descriptive Research at the Element Grade Students of Marketing Major of SMK Negeri 1 Demak in the academic year of 2016 to 2017, namely research with a qualitative approach, and a thesis entitled Students Need Analyzing in Teaching and Learning Process of English Subject for Element Grade Students at SMA Patra Dharma Tarakan, namely research with a quantitative approach but using observations and questionnaires. While the differences in the steps for collecting quantitative and qualitative data in the sample thesis with the title need analysis in English for specific purpose at vocational school, descriptive research at the element grade student of marketing major of SMK Negeri 1 Demak in the academic year of 2016 to 2017, namely research with a qualitative approach. And a thesis entitled Students' Needs Analysis in Teaching and Learning Process of English Subject for Element Grade Students at SMA Patra Dharma Tarakan, namely Research with a Quantitative Approach is the thesis with a qualitative approach. The observation is carried out with the aim of the examine carefully the teaching and learning process of English. While the differences in the steps for collecting quantitative and qualitative data in the sample thesis with the title need analysis in English for specific purpose at vocational school, descriptive research at the element grade student of marketing major of SMK Negeri 1 Demak in the academic year of 2016 to 2017, namely research with a qualitative approach. And a thesis entitled Students' Needs Analysis in Teaching and Learning Process of English Subject for Element Grade Students at SMA Patra Dharma Tarakan, namely Research with a Quantitative Approach is the thesis with a qualitative approach. The observation is carried out with the aim of the examine carefully the teaching and learning process of English. While in research with a quantitative approach, observation aims at additional data that can support data from questionnaires and interviews. In addition, a questionnaire on research with a qualitative approach was given after the end of the process of learning and teaching English, which serves to determine the needs of students in learning English for element graders of marketing. Meanwhile, the questionnaire with a quantitative approach is by giving questionnaires to students directly using a worksheet so that it will be easier to answer questions. The next difference is the research with a qualitative approach does not use interviews, while in research with a quantitative approach, researchers use interviews. So that's the explanation of the answers to the 3 questions for the UTS assignment for the qualitative and quantitative approach in educational course. So that's all for me and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you in my next video.